Hey guys, Merry Christmas, and thank you for joining us on a Friday night, Christmas night chat. I am joined by my good friend, Amin. Amin, Merry Christmas. How are you? How was your
Merry
day?
Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Good to see so many folks in the chat.
Yep.
Um, Day was great, nice to have the whole family home. And yeah, it was good. I mean, my little girl woke me up at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was up late last night
Yeah.
getting stuff going. How about you? You have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, it was crazy. So my son has been waking us up every night for the last like couple months. And fortunately it's been now pushed back. Like he'll wake us up like at 6:30 as opposed to waking us at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. But last night I told him, listen, please let mommy and daddy sleep in. And you don't want to wake us up because then like, Santa Claus won't come or whatever threat that we use, which is not working anymore. The only thing that
Right.
works is like, to get him to do what we want to do is like he's got a fear of robots.
Yeah. Oh my
So we're
God.
kind of using that
Oh
against,
my God.
which is messed up. But anyway, that's a different story.
That's so funny.
So he came into our bedroom. I went and got him because I heard him, and I let him. I was like, listen, stay in bed here with mommy. Daddy's got to whatever, blah blah blah. And I came downstairs, and I set the fire on the started a fire in the wood stove, and turned on he has a train. We have a train that goes around the tracks of the tree. And so we've been reading for the last like month the Polar Express every night before he goes to bed. So we got him the Polar Express, and so I put the Polar Express on and had that going, and all the stuff. I did
Yeah.
ate half the cookies, and
Yeah.
threw out the carrots for the whatever. And then around 7:30 they came down, and they were just like my daughter, my son, and my wife, and the two kids were just like insane. They were
Blown
just like
away.
it was blown. They were totally blown away.
That's the
Yeah,
best.
it was
That's the
magical.
best. Yeah.
And then they started to fight over their own gifts, and then it just like became like a wrestling match. And and I'm
Slightly
physically
less
exhausted,
magical.
slightly less magical. But well, how was? I mean, your kids are a little. Oh, your
Yeah,
daughter
I have
was
two in high
young, but
school. My daughter
yeah,
was really psyched
yeah,
and same as what you're describing. A little bit older, right, than your
yeah,
kids, so she wasn't
yeah.
quite as blown away, but she was pretty blown away. She wrote a detailed letter to Santa that
Yeah.
had about 12 questions, and
Awesome.
she got good answers, so she was psyched.
Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah.
Daniel, Merry Christmas. Junior Johnson, Merry Christmas, sir. Jason, how are you? In Aruba, Merry Christmas. When I lived in Puerto Rico, we used to put Christmas lights around the palm trees by our house. We didn't have Christmas trees, and now if you go to Puerto Rico now, they actually ship down Christmas trees. But when I was there when I was younger, they didn't do that. And plus, our big day was January 6th. It wasn't really for gift giving anyway. It wasn't
Mm.
Christmas Day. Now that's changed as well. Christopher, Merry Christmas. Bruce, how are you? Merry Christmas. Orange Hand, Merry Christmas, sir. Thomas, thank you for coming up. Merry Christmas. Oil Money Watches, what's going on? How are you? Peter, Patriots are out. Sorry, buddy. Patriots are out. I'm sorry. My Washington football team still has a chance. And so does your Giants,
Yeah,
technically.
not as good, but
Yeah.
a
But you
chance.
never know. You never know.
It's true.
EPRFA, how are you? Oh, Boogie, Tennessee Mike, and Six Killer 2120. So, guys, please, we're going to talk a little bit about any kind of watch related gifts that we got today, amongst a couple of other things that we may throw out there. So please let us know. First of all, what do you have on wrist, and Ahmed, what do you have on wrist today?
I have the Bulgari Octo Finissimo.
Classy.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have the Black Bay 58 on this brown. Like I last night, like this whole for the weeks leading up to yesterday, I was like thinking about what watch I was gonna wear for Christmas Eve and Christmas. And of course it had to be the Black Bay. Like there's a point last night when I was just sitting on the couch and my wife was wrapping some presents and we were watching Elf and I was just like looking at the Black Bay and I was just like, this is awesome. I mean, as weird as that sounds,
Yeah,
um,
it's an awesome
that's what I
watch.
was that's what I was feeling.
I've changed already a couple times today. I started out the day with the Elise Nardin because it's a perpetual calendar, and I want I can just take it off
Yeah,
the winder, and it's December 25th, and I know it's
yeah,
going to be right.
yeah.
But yeah,
Nice. Colin's got his Rolex naturally, of course. Jeff is wearing the 104, one white face with the red seconds. That's a new, or is that a new one, or did they just released more? I think that's a new model. Um, and then Kevin S is wearing his green Seiko Sumo for Christmas. Oh, nice, very nice. Um, so Ahmed, and I'll leave this open to the chat. Any watch related gifts from Santa today for you?
not today.
Hmm.
I got a sort of a gift from, so that I put a deposit down to work with Stefan Ketelaars
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a watch next year. And I was told that I got in on the list for one of the last ones in 2021.
Wow.
And he sent me a Christmas Day message today that maybe we could start talking now about what I'd like to get, and
Yeah.
maybe he could start working on it first quarter of 2021. So that was a
Oh,
nice
very
Christmas
exciting.
message. Yeah.
So he, as I recall, he has about three or had about three models,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That
I
he
think I've
was.
decided on one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He
You
has
want to, if you want to pull it up,
I
I
can,
don't know.
sure.
Yeah.
He has 3 right now, but he has designed and will be implementing his in-house movement, which is gonna change his offerings a lot. So the ones that he has right now are
Uh-huh.
based on a modified ETA 6497.
Now, did you know this when you put in a deposit?
I did, and I knew I was putting down a deposit for an ETA 6497 model,
Hmm.
um, which is already pretty pricey for me, and
Yeah.
in-house ones are definitely going to be more expensive.
Right.
So, I thought about, should I ask him if I can let somebody go in front of me and bump mine to a in-house one? But then thinking about the money, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Um, Let me go to his Instagram actually,
Sure.
because he's got some really cool pictures lately. Um, yeah, I if it can happen in the first half of next year, I'd be really
Yeah,
psyched
that'd be
about it.
awesome.
Yeah,
No, he's not. I mean, he's got like a side. I mean, this is like a side gig, right? I
I
mean,
think so.
yeah.
I'm ready to let me put it up here.
Yep. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, so this is called
Beautiful watch.
it's called 3D Terra in Motion.
Yeah.
So he hand paints these earth globes, and then they rotate. I mean, I think it's basically useless, but it rotates, once every 24 hours.
Hmm.
And he reverses the balance wheel to the dial side, so you can see um, you can see
Yeah.
the spring
Hmm.
expand and contract
Hmm.
on the dial side. Um, so it's a lot of modification. He heat colors the titanium on the base plate. He heats um, the hands are titanium, and he heats them to blued. And then on the movement side, one of the cool things about him is that he keeps on learning how to do these different finishes. So this is
Wow.
a new frosted finish with some nice hand finished anglage that he's done more recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is pretty much the one that so Wristworld, I um contacted Stefan on Facebook, and he's there just as Stefan Ketelaars and also as Ketelaars Watches. He's got like a page and a personal account, and he'll reply to either one. I think right now he closed the wait list shortly after I got on it, and then he reopened it recently, but I think his new wait list is for 2022 watches, or expected in 2022.
Wow. So if you're interested in a handmade watch, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
Um, and and you don't have the kind of funds right now to do it. It's almost but you want one, right? And
right,
here's an opportunity perhaps to get something, a beautiful handmade watch, put a deposit down, and then have a couple years
right.
to wait to say, you can save for it,
And the deposit was only 100 euros. So,
Wow.
compared to it definitely gets you on the list. Now, one of the things I was mentioning to Colin is that it's really cool because you can watch him on his Facebook page and on his Instagram getting better and better at watchmaking and learning all these different finishes and working out how to do things. He's basically self-taught. He comes from an engineering background. But one of the things I was, mentioning to Colin is that if you put 100 euros down now and then he comes out this in-house movement and his watches end up being very, very expensive, like, are you willing to pay for who knows how much it's going to
Yeah.
be later?
Right.
But then, the most you would lose, I guess, is 100 euros if you decide
Right.
to bail.
And if you think of that 100 euros over the course of the next couple of years, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah,
like it's not a lot in the first place,
right,
but it's if you lose it 2 years from now, you're like, oh well, I mean that's
right,
already gone in a way,
right,
2 years ago. So it's not a bad price. It's a great
right.
price to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, I don't know
Uh,
if he'll, yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, with Sartori Billard, I think I paid like 1/3 down and then
yeah,
2/3, later. Um, but, the, um, and I don't know that he won't offer the ETA 6497s later. He may offer like a lower price for the non-in-house movement and a higher price
yeah,
for the in-house movement. Mine is going to be, about 4K. Hey, Random Rob, engineer wannabe. This ETA model, Daniel's about 4,000 euros, I want to say, roughly. Plus, he kind of does a la carte for the options you want. So it's a little extra for the reverse balance wheel, a little extra for certain finishing options. But still, for basically a totally handmade watch from one watchmaker with this much customization and finishing, it's still a pretty great price. I just actually had it budgeted more for a late 2021
yeah.
buy. So him putting it in the beginning of 2021, I just told my wife today, I was like, well, honey, it looks like it's going to be maybe a little earlier, like, because I had some purchases recently. So
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, this would be a bet that I'd be willing to make too, because you never know, where Stefan's gonna end up. Like, he may turn out to be the next, you know, great watchmaker, or one of them. I mean, Kadoki. I know it's so apples and orange comparison, but I know Kadoki offers or has offered in the past 6498 versions, and then he has his Kadoki 1 and 2. I don't know. I know you can still pick up those ETA based watches from places like Watch Buys and other places. I don't know if he's solely focused now on his in-house stuff, but a lot of these handmade artisanal watch makers, they've worked on these 6498s. They have a lot of these around. They've done
yeah,
this work before. So it'd be kind of cool if Ketelaars can offer both versions, but he's a one man. I think
definitely.
he's a one man
Yes,
show. So
one
it's going to be even hard. It's just harder. It's just
which is
harder.
amazing. And
Yeah,
at the prices he's charging right now and the number of watches he's doing per year, um, he can't be making a great living just on his watches. Like, up until
yeah,
recently, I think he had a day job.
yeah.
Um, so probably going up market is going to be part of his, unless he
Right.
gets much more efficient at making more watches, going up market may be the solution for him.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, this is tempting. I mean, I feel like after this stream, I'm gonna email him.
Yeah,
And just
I feel like getting in now, like, I'm probably gonna get a watch from a person who I won't be able to afford any of his watches someday, whether that's
yeah,
2 or 3 years from now or when.
And it's not just about like, getting in on the ground floor like a stock, but
Yeah.
no, but this is beautiful. This is
Yeah.
beautiful work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
I,
love it. I love the
yeah,
way they look. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so I didn't get anything watch related per se today. But Mrs. Legs, she gave me a gift, and it was like, a shirt and socks, and then she put a little note, and she actually took a screen print of an account that she has, and so she started a little fund for me for my watches. I mean, I have
Awesome.
a watch fund, but
Yeah.
she made her contribution, and she's like, oh, this is for your Rolex fund, and I'm like, well, I mean, now it's more like a Kadoki Habring Zen fund. I'm off again. I'm off Rolex for a little while and back into Germans. I fluctuate, and I'm gonna probably not talk about this much anymore because I feel like I'm a roller coaster emotionally when it comes to Rolex, and it probably bores everybody here to no end. But anyway, guys, keep on bringing in comments. I would love to hear what you guys got today, if anything. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you did. Crazy day today, other than Christmas. It started off at 55 degrees and now it's like 29 here. And it was raining earlier and now I have flurries. All the snow is gone from the other day, but now it's snowing here. And I'm so happy that I can share this time with you guys, because I am very, very grateful for this last year, and very grateful for the friendship of Amin and guys like Colin and Marcus and Joe and Random Rom and Tennessee Mike and everybody here on the chat. So I want to thank you
For
guys.
sure. Yeah.
Um,
Feel the same way.
anyway, Amin, so you made a purchase and then today
Yeah.
and then you canceled the purchase. Tell us a little bit about it, because this is
So
funny in many ways.
I watched I signed up for HBO Max in order to be able to watch Wonder Woman with 84 with the family
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
So we streamed that, we watched it, and it featured 2 watches very heavily. One was some kind of very old watch from the 40s that um, Wonder Woman's boyfriend gave her at that time, and she kept all these years.
right.
And the other one he's wearing now that he bought basically in the 80s, right? It's supposed to be an 80s watch. And it was a Casio. It was from their classic line.
Yeah.
I can put up a picture of that.
Oh, sure.
Casio
Uh,
classic.
this is just so great in so many levels, Ahmed, because of your Casio G-Shock struggles
Right,
over the
right.
last.
Yeah, the chat's probably getting afraid right now that I'm just going to derail and talk about this the whole time. But anyway, the guy in the boyfriend of Wonder Woman basically was wearing this watch. And it was very prominent, like in a lot of scenes, or at least a few scenes. It figured very strongly. I could tell that it was product placement, not that just he happened to be wearing it as a prop. Um, and he's a cool dude. He's dating Wonder Woman, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, of course.
that makes the watch look cool. Um, so within about an hour of finishing what was not a very good movie, in my opinion. I mean, some people may
Oh,
like it. I
hot
didn't.
take. Okay.
I thought the first one was great,
Yeah.
and this one I thought was not very good. Um, but I ordered it, and then I did a little. It's $20 on Amazon. I think it's $19. I did a little reading about it. I read that it was like 38.7 millimeters, which I thought was great. And then I figured out that was the height and that the width is like 36, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I thought it over and I was like, $20 is still $20. It's not nothing. So I canceled it. And a lot of times these days you order on Amazon, you cancel, it's like it's too late. Like they've
Yeah.
already got it in the queue, but
Yeah.
I successfully canceled this one.
Daniel, so did you get a pilot's watch today? Did you pick up a pilot's watch? Or are you referring to something else? Yeah, well, I've been there. You know, I I just think it's hilarious, man. I'm sorry. I mean, if you guys have followed Amin's adventure with the cat with the G-Shock anyway for the last couple of months, and he finally got a couple, and then he was so quick to pull the trigger, you know, on something that was in a movie, you know, and 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 then he canceled it, which is perfect, which is the perfect ending to your to your quick trigger
Yeah.
purchase. Thomas, thank you so much for Kudoki. And yeah, that's very kind of you, man. That's very, very kind of you. So speaking of product placement, I mean, like, um, who better? I mean, if anybody can chime in the chat or Amin, if you have an opinion on this, I mean, for watches, who better than James Bond has done the best product placement for brands like not necessarily maybe I don't know if Omega or Rolex ever needed help, right? Um, but man, a lot of people, have gone the route of Omega. A lot of I know a few non-watch enthusiasts, collectors who bought Omegas because of James Bond, and not necessarily they didn't buy the James Bond version of whatever Seamaster it was, but they just got into Omega because of James Bond. I mean, I don't know if anybody does it better than James.
I bought a Carla F. Bucher at least a little bit because of John
Right,
Wick.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. And then Orange Hand saying JLC and Doctor Strange. That definitely was
That's huge too. Yeah, very
awesome.
much so.
I mean, when he went, he had that incredible
Hmm.
drawer or case or whatever it was, and when he pulled
Hmm.
that JLC out, it just looked amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and then Cumberbatch was like a is like an ambassador for JLC, right? I mean, I think he's one of their you know ambassadors. John Mayer G Shock for Christmas. Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean,
I like it. I My first impression was that it was, I don't know, either overhyped or whatever. But actually, now that I've been looking at G Shocks for like most of my waking hours for the past month, I think that's a really cool one. The John Mayer.
yeah, I'm still I don't know. I still have mixed feelings about it. Men in Black. What was the there was it was there a watch of Men in Black that somebody wore? Oh man, I forgot.
I think it was the Ventura, Hamilton
Yes,
Ventura,
yes. I think you're
like
right.
the modern day version of the Elvis watch.
Yeah. Um, so Andrew Ron is giving congrats. Clayton picked up a Grand Seiko
Awesome.
um this recently. So congrats to Clayton on that one.
Very cool.
Yep. So Hamilton, right? Ventura, and then of course Hamilton again with Interstellar, right? The Murph.
Yep.
That was also a very interesting release and to some fanfare. I mean, I think it's sold out, um, but I think you can still pick those up somehow in the secondary market. I don't think they necessarily held their value. I could be wrong. What else
I
here?
didn't know. Kevin just said Robert Downey Jr. wore a Bulgari in Iron Man. I didn't know that. That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
really? Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Clayton, which was the? I mean, we were talking about it in our little chat about what the Grand Seiko Kevin got. I mean, Clayton got. Clayton, if you want to just chime in, it's a beautiful watch. Hamilton Ventura was more likable before it was in a movie. All right. Question: I've acquired my first. So El Boogie has a question. Yeah, I've acquired my first Omega Seamaster 300. Should I go for a Tudor Black Bay 5839 or a PO 39 and a half Planet Ocean? Really like an Omega. Well, I mean, if Colin was here, we know what his answer would be Planet Ocean. Um, so he's got a Seamaster 300, right? What I mean, I would ask Oh, Boogie, what is your wrist size? But I guess the 39 at the Planet Ocean is 39 and a half. It's not much different than the 58. I'm partial to the 2-day Black Bay 58 because I have it and I love the watch. But the Planet Ocean is also a great watch too. Um,
they're both great.
yeah,
And the Seamaster 300 is awesome.
yeah,
I guess he's talking about. Are you talking about the Diver 300M or just the Seamaster 300? They're the
right,
two
right. That's a
different
good question.
ones. Because I was thinking the Seamaster may look more similar to the Black Bay than it does to the Planet
Mm.
Ocean, but then it's also an Omega and a Tudor versus two Omegas. I mean, if diversity is part of what you're looking for, you can make an argument for either one. I think they're both awesome watches. The can't can't really go wrong with those two.
And Colin's advice: sell the Seamaster and get the Black Bay 58 and the Planet Ocean.
I think Colin and is down on the Diver 300M,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but I dig it.
yeah. I'll pull it up. So
He's
Omega.
saying it's the Diver 300M, the silver and blue, new wave model, silver and blue. Yeah. So that's going to look very different than both of the ones that you're looking at. Um, but I would go for the Tudor.
Let me pull it up here.
Just because it's a different brand. It's a
So this is the blue, right? This is not it, right?
not it. He said the gray and the silver blue. So that's the one that's more silver.
This one right here. Can you guys see what I'm? No. Okay. So he's talking about this one right
Screen.
here.
Yep. That one.
Yeah. Okay. So let me. Yeah. I mean, I kind of, I kind of like this watch a lot, actually. I like the way it plays off the plays with the light. I mean, I've never seen it in person, but I mean, I've seen images of it and videos. It's a pretty cool watch, man.
I like it.
I like it.
It's not my favorite color variant of that. I don't know why. Maybe it reminds me of the Cowboys uniforms a little bit.
Oh, you just ruined it for me. You
but,
just ruined it for me.
but it is a beautiful watch, and I don't know. I like diversity, including brand diversity, and I
Yeah.
think that you have an awesome Omega. I would check out maybe a Tudor, but you can't go wrong. The Planet Ocean is an awesome watch.
Now, is how thick is the Planet Ocean? Um,
It's a little thicker than those
yeah,
other ones. Yeah.
yeah, because the Tudor is just under 12. So and the Planet Ocean that is that a 600 meter or
It
it's a
is pretty
yeah,
sure. And I think it's getting closer to 14, but I don't know exactly.
yeah,
Um, I think the Planet Ocean is my favorite one of those three watches.
yeah,
But since you already have an awesome Omega, I think maybe Tudor.
yeah. I concur with that one. Easy go with a BB 58 and put it on a strap. Yeah, I mean, look, I've put this on this brown strap. Like I already loved the watch, right? I already loved the way it was, and then I threw it on this brown leather strap that from my Guino that I got just to test it out to see. And man, I just like love it even more now, if that's even possible. Like what's wrong with me? Like I love a watch like a child. Like I love my child. It's pretty crazy. Um, okay, here we go. So the chat here for me got held up a little bit. So now I think I got caught up here. Yep, Daniel BB58 it is awesome in leather, man. I mean, I really like it. EPRFA agree with Tudor for diversity. So I think yeah, a lot of chat seems to be agreeing with Ahmed in that regards. Um, It also looks very good in NATO. Yeah, it does. And I actually picked up, Kevin, I picked up a NATO strap for this watch from what is it? Crown and Cal, not Crown and Cal, not the Crown and Buckle.
Mm.
And it was very similar to the stock NATO that you can get the NATO version of the BB-58, but it was like a single pass, and I wasn't really used to it, and I felt like every time I was getting it off wrist, like it was almost like it felt like it was like flying off my wrist. And at one time I was taking it off, like, and I fortunately I wasn't on top, like on my kitchen table, and I fell into the table. Unfortunately, nothing happened to the watch, but ever since then, I kind of took it off of that. And if I could find like a typical NATO that's not single pass, that looked exactly like the one I got from Crown and Buckle, I'll get it. It looked good. It looked good on NATO. All right, here. Yeah, the Crown and Buckle Chevron shaft. So that's the one I got. It was a single pass, and I wasn't used to single pass, so it didn't feel like safe every time I took it off. How about soundbite? Oh, money watches. Act like you don't care about style and buy a Tudor P01.
Daniel,
And
you got a Protrek today. Random Rob got me looking at Protreks too.
didn't he put out a video recently, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he did.
I've shown enough Protreks before.
Yeah. Thomas is saying the broad arrow hands on the Planet Ocean look great, and the quarter Arabic numbers printed on the dial look great too. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
I agree. I like the Planet Ocean a lot. I probably would go the slightly bigger size, but
yeah,
everybody's different.
Yeah, I remember. So I've said this a few times that about 15 so years ago when I started getting into watch collecting, I had a couple of friends who were watchmakers who worked for Richemont, and they when I asked them, like, what should I get next, and their first suggestion was Zenith El Primero, but then they also were pushing the Planet Ocean, the coaxial movement. They were, I think maybe that was something. The coaxial movement was something new at the time, or around then, and they were just blown away by it. And so there was, there was a lot of Planet Oceans coming out. I think that's when the line came out too, and that was like on my radar for a while, and I always go back to it. It's one of those watches. I have like about half dozen watches that I always revisit from time to time, because for a while there they were on my radar, and I guess they still kind of are. Hey, Michael, great to join us. Pro Checks are more wearable than the G-Shocks. Okay. And yeah, Colin's got his PO. But Colin, that was your first luxury purchase, right? I think, wasn't it his first luxury watch? I mean, anyway, yeah, so. It's a great watch. So any other plans this weekend, Amin?
This weekend, no, just not too much. Help my son get his last college applications in by first week of January.
Yeah, gotcha.
Nothing watch related.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I got a couple of straps in the mail. Haven't come in yet. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I got a couple things coming in as well. I speaking of Clayton, who bought the Grand Seiko recently. He was selling off some watches, and he had an SKX, and because I had put it out there that I was looking for an SKX, just for like a size comparison when I do my reviews. I've been watching a lot of knife reviews lately, and they always, when they bring in a knife in for the review, one of the first things that they do a knife comparison with other commonly carried knives, and I find that to be so helpful. And I know there's other watch reviewers who do that too, and I guess it just didn't register to me until I saw the knife reviews that could be helpful. So the SKX is no longer, it's discontinued, but so many of us, whether we still have them or not, have handled an SKX. So, and we know it, we're very familiar with it. It's one of those watches that are just going to sit in the side there, and maybe I'll fool around with it and mod it, but I'm just going to use it for a size comparison. So I got that, and
cool. Which one?
It's a 007. Yeah, the black dial, right? Yep. Not the Pessi dial. So 007.
Cool.
and man, I got so many. I got a lot of watches here in the house that I have to do reviews on. I got to bang out some reviews this weekend because I have my friend's Notice, is it? The one that weighs like 200 grams. The one I did an unboxing for was like this big silver quartz chronograph. So I got to do that one, and then a few other watches. So I got my work cut out for this weekend.
Cool.
Let's see here. I know I just took up a lot of time there. Bobby, give me a knife which is the SKX of the knife world. Well, so I'm probably the I'm probably the second to last person in the world you should probably ask about knives, but you're looking for something that's inexpensive and something that's a workhorse. Um, you can't go wrong with anything Spyderco. If you could find a Spyderco like a Para 3, I mean that's actually not fair to Spyderco because the Spyderco knives are just a little bit a little bit higher level than what an SKX is. But if you're just looking for something like EDC, you can't go wrong with like a Paramilitary 3 Spyderco, in my opinion. But sure, there are some great knives out there, 50, $60 range that are just great everyday carries. You kind of caught me off guard with that one, so I'll have to think about it. Maybe later on in a chat, something will come up. Yeah, I mean the Buck 110. There you go. That's that's a legend. Um,
Philip, my second son, got a Buck 110 automatic
yeah,
from Santa today, and he's been flicking it all day long.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's
We're watching Wonder Woman. I'm hearing snick, close, snick.
yeah, yeah,
It's very
yeah.
annoying, but
Yeah, yeah,
having fun.
it's a fidget thing. Like most of the knives
Yeah,
I use, there's two purposes I have: cutting
yeah,
boxes, right,
yeah.
and then fidgeting. What about the Kershaw? Yeah, Kershaw's great as well.
That knife, it's very heavy,
Mhm.
and when you press the button and it flies open, it's a
Yeah.
real kick to it.
Yes.
I was surprised.
And
Feels quality though.
so he put so it's an automatic then it sounds like, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So what is the locking mechanism? Is it on the back? Is it like a spine mechanism? Like can he
yeah.
can he close it with one hand as well?
Well, so it's like it's on the back, all the way
Yeah,
at the bottom. There's
yeah,
like you push that spine
yeah,
in,
yeah. So you need two
and
hands.
so unless you push it against something.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Or I guess if you push a button in, I don't think you could push a button in and flick it closed because there's so much spring tension opening it that
right.
closing it, you have to actually close it pretty hard. But it opens with a lot of force.
Yeah.
It's very, very heavy and solid.
Benchmade mini Griptilian, also a great choice, just over 6 inches. So the bug out is also a really good choice, but they're priced out a little bit higher. Yeah, I mean Kershaw is just a great choice. I had the Kershaw Dividend, and that's just that was a $45 knife, and it was great. It wasn't drop shutty, but it did it was assisted, and it was just like there was a nice kick to it.
He has
Terry,
a Griptilian too, but
yeah, okay,
like you said, that's a little probably relative to watches. It's probably more than SKX, right?
yeah,
That class.
I would say so.
Same with the Buck 110 is. I think you're right that like compared to watches, like $50 on a knife is probably similar to 200 on a watch or something like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out the knife thing,
Yeah,
and then on top of that, figuring it how it compares to watches. And so what I know is that there's so many great affordable knives. There's so many knives under the 100 dollar range, and it makes sense. I mean, like it makes sense. I mean, like I can't expect that, in watches. Watches, I mean, like you're gonna have to pay a little bit more to get a good, decent watch. But with knives, you can get really great knives, great everyday knives that you can beat up and it will perform for under $90. But at the same time, man, you can spend a lot of money on knives that I never realized that you could spend so much money on knives. You
I
know,
believe it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a brand, and this is not the most expensive knife in the world, but there's Chris Reeve, that's the name of the brand, and I've heard other people like refer to it like as the Rolex of watches, and man, those watches, those knives are like between 450, 500, 600, $700. They're beautiful, man. Like I don't even want to use them. You know what I mean? But anyway, Ricky, thanks, man. Merry Christmas, Ricky. I appreciate it. You're very generous. Thank you so much. For an EDC knife, it's has to open and close with one hand. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Um, there's the access lock on the uh, on the Benchmades is great for that, and the way you position your hand when you close it, you don't have any danger of actually the knife coming down and hitting any part of your hand here, your palm, which is nice. Um, the compression lock on the Spydercos are really great too. Um, yeah, so the Shabenza, which is a Chris Reeve knife, is a legend, and it totally is. Um, Man, if I can get like a Sabenza or oh, what's the other one that starts with an I? Damn it. But they come in a different like blade shapes. There's a one that's called a Tonto. Man, I love that. I love it, man. But I have to temper that because I have watch goals, you know. So I hope we didn't lose too many people in the chat with that. With that, I'm Amin and a couple of guys that I talk to on a daily basis. Maybe not so much Amin, but a couple of the other guys are really into pens, and Amin is into pens. So I'm trying to kind of get these guys every once in a while throw in a knife. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
I used to be into pens. I haven't bought a pen in years. Yeah, I used to be into pens. I'm probably more likely to buy a nice knife than a nice pen these
Oh
days.
wow, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Um, and used to be, and you still are into photography now.
I was, but I now I pretty much mostly use my phone. You know,
Yeah,
I've kind of lost that bug. When my kids were really young, I really enjoyed taking a lot of family
sure.
photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a coworker, and she is a great photographer. She's entered competition. She's gone to like Barcelona. She's gone to a couple of places in Europe because she's entered pictures. And then I don't think she's won anything, or maybe she has, but wherever it is, she's invited to go, and she goes, right? And somebody we had a Zoom, a WebEx work, and it meeting, and it turned into eventually, more of like, hey, how you doing, personal kind of stuff. And somebody asked her like, what kind of camera do you use? And she's like this. She's like,
Oh wow.
iPhone
Yeah.
12.
Wow. Yeah.
He's like, they're just as good as
Yeah.
any kind of camera. So it's amazing what these cameras can do, man. My wife has got an 11, and the portrait mode on them is awesome. I'm like kind of thinking I have an 8, and I'm like, oh, should I spring it? Take a little bit more better photos for Instagram.
Yeah.
I think about that.
Yeah, they've come such a long way. When I was really getting into photography with my kids, and the phones were not good for taking pictures, so you had to get a better camera.
Yeah, for sure. Um, let me see if I can tempt Ahmed with some knives here. It's just real quick. Now, Ahmed, just real quick. All right. Hold on, guys. Sorry.
Now that I know that my Sartori Billard and Ketelaars are both coming due around a similar time, I'm trying to not be tempted.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a crispy and cozy, and man, this is just such a beautiful knife, man.
Mm.
Let me see if I can click on it. It's not letting me. Here we go. Look at that thing. This is that Tonto blade. It's
Yeah.
just awesome. It's just awesome. But look, I mean, 550, and that's for somebody who's like getting into knives. That's so out of my thought process of spending for a knife. Just like how like I wouldn't spend 1,000 or 2,000 on a watch, but that has changed, and there are definitely knives that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars that totally blow your mind away. That's something. I mean, it's and I'm sure it's worth every penny. It's just crazy. It's just bananas.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm losing you, Amin. I know,
That,
man.
that it's cool, but the appreciation for what would make it. I mean, I guess I can understand that there's some craftsmanship or materials or higher
Yeah,
quality, but I'm pretty much, I leave it on in my drawer to open a box every once in a while. I think it would be crazy for me to get a $450 knife for that.
yeah. Thomas, thanks again, man.
Get a
Yes, but yes,
gentle nudge away from the knife talk.
you got it. And yes, and I love to talk about it. So there's a couple of that I'm looking at, and I guess I can go into. I'll just go into Passion Fine Jewelers, this site, because they have both, and so there's a couple of Habrings that I'm looking at. um, I really like this, and can you are you seeing the screen?
Yeah,
Am I
yeah,
okay?
definitely.
So I really like this Habring 2 stainless steel Irwin. This has the stop seconds.
Mm.
Really awesome watch, and this 2 weeks ago this was at 65.50. They just raised their prices
Oof.
here. So I don't know if that's
That's a deadbeat, you mean?
deadbeat. That's what I meant.
Deadbeat.
That's what I meant. Deadbeat. Yeah. And then of course there's and I always have a hard problem with a problem with this one, pronouncing it
Foudroyant.
Frugiant. Okay, and this is an amazing watch, and they came out recently with a salmon dial version of this, which I love, but my collection um, is small at the moment, and I don't know if a salmon dial would fit in it. Um, but it's very tempting. I just love this silver dial.
Mm.
And I wish there was some video on this on the site, but when this gets wound like that, um, eighth of a second hand is like going bananas. Um, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome to look at. Um, Getting back to Kadoki, I mean, it's this one, the Kadoki 2 stainless steel with the day-night indicator. Just a gorgeous watch. Let's see here if we can get a shot of the back here. And I actually, I don't know if it was on Instagram or Facebook today, but somebody had commissioned Stefan Kadoki to, I guess, do some hand engraving in this area, in this main plate area here.
Mm.
And I don't know if Stefan did it or if he has somebody that does it for him, but it was just a work of art. It was amazing. So those are the watches in my radar. I mean I even like the Kadoki One. You know what I mean? It's such a beautiful watch. So simple. But underneath the hood, I mean, it's just this beautiful
Mm.
um, movement. This handmade watch. I just the handmade watch is definitely grabbing at me more lately. Now these watches are. I mean, it's going to take me a long time and to sell some watches to get to this point. But I think it'll be well worth it. And yeah, I'm just excited about those watches.
Some funny responses in the chat.
Oh, did I miss some? Okay.
Or just oil money saying spruiking Rolex money, Kadoki's now FMD. Thomas Burnett loves the Habring. Kevin S is thinking you should go Rolex Daytona 41. Not
Yeah.
sure if the Habring or I don't know if it's Habring or Habring,
Yeah.
or Kadoki will stick. I think they're beautiful.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Habring style is very restrained. I've never seen one in person, so I don't know if there's more to it than I'm seeing on the screen.
Yeah.
But it's pretty minimalist, and same with the Kadoki one.
Yeah.
Um, and I, that's a little too. They both look a little too minimalist for me.
Hmm.
I like a little more.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, a little bit less restrained.
Yeah.
The Habring 2, I mean the Kadoki 2, I think is just flat gorgeous watch.
I've seen that watch in person,
Yeah.
and it is it just as good or better in person
Mm.
than what you see on the pictures. I knew I wanted to see that watch, and I saw it on a Watch Buys Roadshow last year, and they had it fortunately, and it was just mind blowing. And that case back is just unbelievable. Now I haven't seen a Habring in person either. Um, that when I'm looking at that kind of investment, let me take that word back. It's not an investment. When I'm looking at that kind of like dough that I'm going to drop, I'd have to see anything in person first. And so I hear you about Habring, and I would have to go. I think the nearest AD or dealer seller of Habring is in Philadelphia, Martin Polini, I think, or I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but I would have to go see that in person, of course. Um,
Jeff Reynolds is talking Chapek Passage to Drake, which I think is a whole nother price level to
yeah, they
all of
usually
this.
are, but
Beautiful.
but beautiful, right? Oh man,
Bristol is saying Martin Pulley.
pulley. Okay, I follow him on Facebook, and I mean on Instagram. I wish Martin. I wish his website. It's a little. I wish it was a little bit more user friendly. I would say. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, let me pull it up. I mean, it's definitely it's full of information, which is great. But I just wish that it was just a little bit more easier to navigate through. Um,
So I have a question for you and for the chat. If while you're pulling that out, or you got it
yeah.
already. Um, so our buddy Joe Cheng has the Kadoki 2.
Hmm.
Um, does when a friend already has a watch, sometimes I kind of want to go for something that my immediate friend group doesn't have already. Do you feel that way, or do you feel the opposite way? Like it's good to be wrist buddies, so to speak, with someone else. I'm wondering in the chat, do you try to get different watches than your friends, or is it fun to get the same watch as a friend?
So that's a really good question, and I guess I think um, most of the time I try not to. I think I want to get something different than what other people have. However, I with the Kadoki 2, for example, I knew that at one point I would. I mean, I wanted that watch, and I knew that, and I felt that way about that watch as a no-brainer for me one day, way before I met Joe.
Oh, okay.
And I think the fact he's got the salmon dial version of that, and for me, the white dial version is still different enough. I mean, I think they're so different because of that dial color,
Yeah.
that I'm still okay with it. And even if he
Yeah.
had the white dial version, um, I love that watch. So what?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but in general, I try to avoid, which is I know is kind of talking at both ends of the spectrum of my mouth there. So, um,
Yeah. I think that doesn't make a big difference to me either, but I slightly try to, if two options are equal, I'll go for the one that, if I like two equally, I'll go for the one that somebody else doesn't have.
well, money's please enough with the crazy talk. Get yourself a DJ 41. You've been talking about this so long. Yeah. So that's why, like earlier, I said I'm going to stop talking about it. That's why. I mean, I realize oil money, OMW. I realize how crazy I sound. I know it.
You don't sound crazy. A lot of us go through these this kind of thing, especially with Rolex, where
Yeah.
it's not even just like deciding whether to walk into a store and buy it or not. It's deciding whether to like quest for a Rolex, right? With like relationship with an AD
Right, right.
or paying overprice or going vintage. I mean, it's like it's not straightforward anyway.
I think that's what it is with me. It's has nothing to do with the watch itself. It has to do with what I have to do to get the watch. And there's a difference between like the search for the quote unquote grail and how long it takes as there's a difference between that and going and kissing somebody's ass so I can get on a list, so I can get this watch, so I can pay MSRP for it. You know what I mean? So that's I think what's kind of turning me off about the whole process. But 6 months from now I'll change my mind and I want a Rolex again. So
Yeah, and I don't think people care or mind hearing you go back and forth like a crazy person about it. I mean, I made a video, not to plug myself, but about just my thoughts about Rolex, and I think it's one of my more viewed videos, even though basically all I did was hem and haw and think, in circles about what I think about Rolex for the whole stream. So
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
people get it.
Kevin, I like the blue Azuri with the Roman numerals, smooth bezel, Jubilee bracelet. I know you should get a fluted bezel with that dial. I don't care. I like what I like. That's the one I like. uh,
Yeah, Bruce is saying we all change our
change
mind.
our mind. Yep.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Ahmed, anything else you want to chat about? We're almost at an hour.
Are there any other classic Casio watches, $20, $30 Casio watches besides the one I put up earlier that I should be looking at? Something that's kind of vintagey, 80s, sort of like the modern descendant of an 80s non-G-Shock Casio that because I'm totally ignorant about that whole. I've seen some people with like World Time, Data Bank. Is that a calculator watch or is that a not a calculator watch? I remember when I was in elementary school, I had calculator watches before I had G-Shocks, and then I got this one. It was a regular watch that became a calculator watch. The calculator appeared on the screen.
Yeah.
It was like a touch sensitive screen with the calculator buttons that appeared, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever possible.
No, man, and you were the coolest, man. You
Yeah.
were the coolest.
Yeah. And then I had the very first G-Shock, which now I guess sells for probably like $2,000 if you have a good one.
That's bananas.
Yeah, it's crazy. So data bank. All right. So App's gonna unsubscribe from me. Well, I am what I am, App. I gotta keep it real.
Jean-Claude, I love that Wimbledon smooth dial. That's also in the mix. Kevin,
MJ saying stop, don't do it.
no, don't do it. Yeah.
Daniel said F91. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I'll take a look. Yeah.
Kevin, you should get a Tudor 41 Royale. Nope. Not gonna do it. The Casio Royale. That's the world timer.
Was that a James Bond watch too? I feel like it was.
I think it was. I
I
think that's
know
why they call it
Nico
the
and
Casio
Casio
Royale.
had their James Bond watches too. I coming back to product placement, I think it's very effective and at least it works on me. Maybe I'm weak-minded, but when I see a watch in a movie on somebody who looks cool, it goes a long way for me.
Yeah, and I guess in a way, I'm kind of like that with any. You know how Hodinkee has that collector spotlight, kind of like Ben will, like I guess like with some athletes. I found David Robinson's collection very interesting. It was kind of like not what I expected.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember that one.
yeah. So I don't know if it's necessarily product placement in movies, but if I see somebody who I admire, an athlete, or even, it doesn't have to be an athlete, but it's somebody who I admire who's wearing a certain watch, it will make me think about that, um, and
Totally.
and it might work, but it hasn't worked so far. But check out Data Bank on a strap code. Nice. Nice. We need Joe the psychiatrist on here to get you guys some help. Yes. See, the thing is, Joe is like, he does what psychiatrists do, man. He just listens and lets us talk. And then the worst thing about it is, if I ever go back and watch this, I can hear what an imbecile I am. At least if I'm in his office, right? It's like I'm protected by doctor-patient privilege. There is no doctor-patient privilege on YouTube.
So funny. Yeah. David Robinson had a very thoughtful collection, no doubt. Yeah. Yeah, no, he does, Oil Money. He sees me looking at these and he thinks I'm a total fool because he knows what watches I have and he thinks I'm a total dork for looking at these $20 Casio watches. But he's all into blinged Rolexes. That's his main thing.
What about how does he feel about the Bling Master, the G-Shock?
He thinks it's a total travesty,
Okay.
like a disgrace.
To each his
Bring him
own.
on one day to talk about
You should.
stupid opinions about watches, but like he doesn't see anything cool about that. He's like, "Is it real gold?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh, it's terrible. It's trash." He's 16. He's trying to profile at school, and
Yeah. I get it. All right. Well, we're at an hour. And I'm sure you guys had a very, very long day this Christmas day. Amin, I want to thank you, man, for coming on tonight and for being here and coming on the stream all the times that you have. I've really enjoyed this last, I guess, 6 months we've been doing it, maybe less than 6 months.
Thanks, Rob. I've always enjoyed your friendship, and coming on your channel is always a good time too.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like at this point last year, I knew nobody, when it came to the watch community. I just put out a couple of videos. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just wanted to share my collection with people and see where it went. And I would have never, I mean, it wouldn't have registered in my thought process last year that it could be what it is today. I'm doing live streams with you guys here on Christmas night, talking about watches and what we got, and the insanity that watch collecting is for us. And we found a group of people that we can console each other and have a little fun doing it, right?
For sure.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please check out Amin's channel. The link is in the description, and his Instagram at Amin Reviews Official. I'm Bobby Legs, and have a Merry Christmas night, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Thanks.
Happy holidays.